And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another video game review. Today, I am reviewing Deadpool. That Deadpool game, yes, the one that got discontinued very fast after it got released due to copyright issues. So it's pretty rare. But I played it on Xbox 360 because Jeffofthemellows, as a Christmas gift, found a copy and let me. I guess it's technically. I guess he gave it to me, but I had to borrow his Xbox to even play it, so he'll be getting it back to play it. Well, he will have it back by now, by the time this video comes out. But anyway, it's a Deadpool video game. As you guys know, I'm a big Deadpool fan. Other than Spider-Man, I'd say he's probably my favorite Marvel IP, and that's the Tom Holland Spider-Man. Overall, I'd say Deadpool's probably the best. I really love all the movies, as you can tell. The reviews that I won't put in the iCard, but you can go check those out after this. But I was very excited to see how this game actually was, because the whole appeal around it is its rarity. And when a game is rare, that doesn't mean it's always good. So what did I think about this game? Like, a lot of thoughts. Let's just jump right into it, shall we? I gotta say, this game really does. They do a really good job with this game of making it like what Deadpool is. Very, a lot of pop culture references, a lot of parodies, a lot of fourth wall breaks, a lot of humor, a lot of gore, a lot of that stuff. They do a really good job of it. Even though it isn't Ryan Reynolds that plays Deadpool, the person who voices Deadpool in this game does a really good job at emulating how Ryan Reynolds has been able to really fit the Deadpool character. And they're very similar. He does a really good job here, which is awesome. I was very happy to see that, because they very well could have just watered it down, not done anything about it. But to me, that would have sucked, and that would have been very cheap, and would have been terrible. But they didn't. They didn't do that, which I was glad. I was glad that they did that. I was very happy about that. The fourth wall breaks are very funny. Like I said, there's a lot of really funny moments in here. There's also a lot of hot women. They look very good. Very good. All I'm going to say about that. It's also kind of a Deadpool and Wolverine prequel, kind of. Wolverine is in this game, only for a little bit. He's referenced, he's talked about a lot more than he's actually in the game. You don't really do anything with him, and he kind of just shows up and dies at the end. It's kind of like a little bit of a prequel to him, I guess. I don't know, 6 or 7. But the main part of this game, other than like the really funny moments, like the cutscenes or the gore or whatnot, is the combat. This is a mostly other than that, it's just a beat 'em up game. Very combat heavy, and that's really all the gameplay is. But it's really good combat. It's just a lot of fun. You have a lot of weapons at your disposal, and you have a lot of abilities at your disposal too, like evasion moves and all that sort of stuff that you can kind of learn and upgrade as you go. You do have to collect in-game currency in order to buy new weapons or upgrade your weapons or upgrade your abilities. But as you'll find, it depending on what mode of difficulty that you play, it can be pretty easy to collect the money as long as you go out and actually fight stuff, and if you find chests or there's just coins laying around. So it can be pretty easy to find this stuff. So it can make you really be able to upgrade your weapons, which you're going to need at the end of the game, because the end of the game to me is really where shit starts to hit the fan. You get a lot of just, there's the end portion of this game is really difficult, because you have to approach it with a very stealth-like movement, and there is stealth in this game. It's not great. Stealth is not great, especially at the end of the game. You're not really supposed to use the stealth, but you go in and you're just swarmed by enemies immediately, and if you die, you got to restart the whole thing, and the fight kicks off by fighting 3 giants, and that part just drains almost all of your bullets instantly. So then you got to go do all that, and then there's a way to do it, but I'm probably going to put it as an honorable mention on the hardest video game levels list, because I wouldn't say other than that the combat was necessarily super difficult, because the final fight you fight Blockbuster, you fight the Rogue Lady, and you fight, I forget her name, the other lady, the Green Lady. You fight all 3 of them, and that fight's not nearly as hard as the gauntlet that leads up to it. And then also you fight them individually earlier in the game, and I don't think that was a very, very tough fight. There were some harder parts, where it's like, but you don't have to do all the combat. Like at the end, obviously you have to do that, but leading up to that, you don't have to do all the combat. So there's parts where you can get stuck, but you can just avoid it. But if you want to collect money to upgrade your stuff, so you're ready to go for that final fight as much as possible, that's how you do it. Don't be like me, upgrading your weapons, not realizing that there's player upgrades that you can do, and realizing those player upgrades are pretty helpful. Don't be like me. Don't do that, because it will fuck you over at the end. My only real complaint with this game is that it doesn't run very well. And that could just be because it got canned so early, so they didn't have a lot of time for patching, they didn't have a lot of time for any troubleshooting, anything like that, because they kind of had to abandon it as soon as it hit those shells. But the game did not run the greatest. A couple instances. There were many times where the game would just shut itself down because the disc couldn't be read, but the copy that I have is pretty pristine. It looks fine. So that could be an issue with the Xbox reader, but I've never had that problem. I've played a good amount of games on Noah's Xbox 360 by now. Never had this problem before, so I have to think that it's the game. But eventually, all I really had to do was just stop playing, exit, and then go back in, and it usually fixed itself. I did have to take it out once to wipe it off with my shirt, but I didn't really see the benefit of that. The other problem comes again near the end of the game when they start just throwing a absolute fuck ton of enemies in your direction, and the game just cannot keep up with itself. When there's that many enemies on screen, there's that many guns firing, things flashing, all that sort of stuff, the frame rate, the game literally froze twice, and it's jumbling around trying to catch up with itself, and I'm just yeah, there were parts where I just decided to take off and run instead of fighting because I just didn't want to take on that giant gauntlet of enemies, but also, was it really necessary? You really couldn't keep up with you that much? Now, I know there was, I think there was an Xbox One and a PS4 version. I played the Xbox 360 version, so maybe that's just a problem on the 360. I don't know. That's just what I don't know if that's a problem with other consoles or a unique problem to me. I don't know. That's the only real complaint that I had, because it did get annoying because it doesn't let you save your progress anywhere you want. So if that did happen, you would often have to go back to the start of that specific section. But so it never took you back super far, but it was a little annoying, especially near the end with the harder parts when the fights were just absolute gauntlets of enemies that you just wanted to be done with. And so that was kind of annoying. But other than that, I really, really enjoyed this game. I think it was really, really fun. I don't know if it'll find a spot on my favorite video games list, but it'll definitely be mentioned. If not, find its way onto the list. Because I really, really enjoyed this game. I would have to give it a good 8 out of 10. Without the functionality issues, I'd probably bump it up to a 9. But I'm going to keep it at an 8 for now. I think it's a really, really good version of a Deadpool game. I think they put a lot of effort into it. It sucks that the copyright stuff made it pretty rare, because I think I'd like more people to experience this game. I think they would really enjoy it. But life is life. Can you do? If you can get your hands on this game and give it a play, I would 100% recommend doing so. I think you will really, really enjoy it. It's not a super long game. It's not a super difficult game. Well, it can be difficult, but it's not a super complicated game, is what I meant to say. So, without being said, that's going to do it for this video. If you played this game, I'd love to know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. And that's going to do it for this video as well. Stay tuned for much more amazing content, including more video game reviews and other awesome stuff. And until next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.